All right, good morning, everybody. It's your boy Akeem, and welcome to this blog. We are on week 14 of the 2017 college football season. This is championship week of all the major conferences in college football, and this is going to be very exciting. We have some teams that are reaching for the hunt to make it to the playoff of the end of the season, and this is going to be a close race because there's actually at least 6 teams of the Power 5 conferences who are still in this race. Actually, 7 teams. Now let's talk about the first matchup in the SEC Championship between number 6 Georgia versus number 2 Auburn. Now Auburn did crush the Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago, and Georgia's looking to avenge that loss. Now, despite having 2 losses, Auburn is still ranked second in the country because of their big win over Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Now, speaking of Alabama, they're actually ranked 5th in the nation, 1 slot ahead of Georgia, so they're still in the hunt for the college football playoff. In that particular matchup in the SEC Championship between the Bulldogs and the Tigers, I think the Bulldogs will avenge their lone loss of the season. I think they will pull off the victory to make it to the college football playoff as the SEC champion. Headed over to the Pac-12, this is going to be a great game between number 12 Stanford versus number 10 USC. Now, I think USC is still slightly in the hunt for the playoff because they only have 2 losses and they're playing for a Pac-12 title. They're going to be playing against a tough Stanford Cardinal team led by All-American running back Bryce Love, who should be the Doak Walker Award winner given to the nation's top running back. He's having a big year and he could make it to the Heisman Trophy ceremony at New York come towards the end of the season, but he needs another big game against a good USC Trojan team. Now, for this particular matchup, I will go with the Trojans in this one because I think that Sam Darnold's going to try to make a case to be the number 1 quarterback prospect for the 2018 NFL Draft. Now, we all know that the Pac-12 North for the past 6 seasons have represented the Pac-12 and won the Pac-12 championship. But I think this is going to be the first year for the South in 7 seasons for the South to finally win, and USC should pull off the victory. Next up, I'm going to stick with the Power 5 conferences, the Big 12 championship between number 3 OU against number 11 TCU. Now, the Horned Frogs already suffered a defeat against the Sooners earlier in the season, and they have actually a great a little bit of a rivalry just for this season because they have a little bit of an attitude problem between the 2 teams, a little holding grudges between one another, actually starting fights. Baker Mayfield before the game in their matchup earlier in the season, and this is going to be a great grudge match in this matchup, and I think the TCU Horned Frogs is going to try to give OU a rude awakening, but I will stick with OU in this one. I think the Sooners have enough power offensively, and Baker Mayfield is going to try to make his final statement to win the Heisman Trophy come towards the end of the season. I will go with OU over TCU. The ACC Championship. This is going to be another key matchup between number 7 Miami against number 1 Clemson. Now, the Hurricanes are still in the race as well. That's why I said 7 teams. It's going to be like Miami, Georgia, Alabama, Wisconsin, Clemson, OU, and Auburn, and possibly Ohio State. So 8 teams possibly, depending on that championship. I will talk about that next. But I'm going to talk about the ACC Championship between Miami and Clemson. Kelly Bryant's been doing a great job as quarterback. He's all over the field running and throwing the football more effectively with his legs. But I think that the Clemson defense is going to be having a good matchup against Miami. Now let's not exclude Miami. They are now back. They are the U. This is a great team this season. They had a lone defeat against Pittsburgh come towards the end of the year, which was a tough break. Nobody saw that coming, but actually lucky for them that they suffered that loss then, because they still have a chance, in my opinion, to make it to the playoff if they win the ACC Championship, bumping Clemson out. Now, I will go with Clemson in this one. I think they're going to be way too much for the Hurricanes because I think they have more physicality over Miami compared to the speed. Now, speed-wise, I will go with Miami over Clemson. But as far as the physicality and under the trenches and in that line of scrimmage, I think that Clemson has the edge being a Southern team. Just Miami is a Southern team as well, but more of a powerhouse Southern team for Clemson. I will go with Clemson over Miami. Next up, the Big Ten Championship between number 4 Wisconsin against Ohio State. Ohio State does have 2 defeats while Wisconsin is still undefeated. I don't know why they're not ranked second, at least second in the nation. They're ranked 4th, but Wisconsin must win this matchup. They have to win this matchup to make it to the playoff, and Ohio State has to win just to stay alive. But Wisconsin's looking to make a statement. Yes, they did have a weak schedule, but they are looking to win this Big Ten Championship, and this is a team I actually want to win. But I am still an analyst here. I have to do my job as an analyst. I will go with the Buckeyes as an analyst in this one because even though JT Barrett and company are inconsistent both offensively and defensively, but when they're on, they're on. And I think because of their comeback from Michigan last week, they're going to carry that momentum in the Big Ten Championship with another great win over the Wisconsin Badgers, ruining Wisconsin's season. I will go with the Buckeyes over the Badgers in this one, but I really, really want to see Wisconsin make it to the playoff and represent the Big Ten conference. Now, there are a couple other conferences that are in the title race in the conference championships. I'm going to go with the biggest one in American Athletic Conference between number 14 UCF against number 20 Memphis. UCF is still undefeated. If they win, they should play in a not in a playoff, but in a major BCS bowl matchup, and I believe that they should. Scott Frost has been doing a great job as head coach, and I think he is the front runner to earn the Nebraska head coaching vacancy because they just fired Coach Riley last week, and I think that Scott Frost is going to be their guy, but I think that they should at least let Frost finish off the season as head coach, even in the bowl matchup, just to carry this team and then go on to Nebraska. I'm going to go with UCF in this one, but this is going to be a close one in this one. Memphis is still a good team, but I will go with UCF because I think they just have they have just so much to prove and show, just to keep the season undefeated to make it to a major BCS bowl game, which is going to be a great thing for the school. We've been seeing that in most recent seasons in college football with good sleepers, including UCF a couple of years ago with the big Fiesta Bowl over Baylor, led by quarterback Blake Bortles of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next up, the Mountain West Championship between number 25 Fresno State versus Boise State. Now, Marcus Marion had a big game last week, 332 yards and a couple of passing touchdowns over the Broncos in this one to lead Fresno State to a 28-17 victory. I'm actually going to go with Fresno State in this one. I was originally going to go with Boise State, but I think that Fresno State, I think their passing attack is getting more comfortable. They're doing a great job passing the football, and Boise State was exposed a lot last week. I will go with the Bulldogs over the Broncos in this one. Now, another conference championship, the Conference USA title between Florida Atlantic against North Texas. North Texas did lose 31-69 early in this season to the Owls of Florida Atlantic, and head coach Lane Kiffin's been doing a great job. Now, Alabama is definitely missing Lane Kiffin as their offensive coordinator, and it's just showing why. Florida Atlantic jumped up a lot offensively, averaging well over 30 points per game, especially with the 69-31 victory. This is an automatic pick for me. I will go with the Florida Atlantic Owls in this one over the Mean Green. This is going to be a big game for Lane Kiffin because Tennessee is actually looking back at him to be their new head coach, which he was years ago when he was the head coach of the Volunteers. He might end up going back. I wish him the best of luck, but I think he should probably stay at Florida Atlantic just to see what happens. But I don't really think coaches are actually being more scared of being the next Tennessee Vols coach, in my opinion. Now, lastly, this is going to be a tight race in the Sun Belt Conference because Appalachian State, Troy, and Arkansas State are on a three-way tie here. Now, Appalachian State plays against Louisiana. All they have to do is win, and they clinch at least a share of the Sun Belt title. And then the next matchup is between Troy and Arkansas State. Now, for the Appalachian State-Louisiana game, I will go with the Mountaineers over the Raging Cajuns. But for the Troy-Arkansas game, this is the bigger game, obviously. I'm going to go with Troy in this one. Coach Neil Brown's been doing a tremendous job. Tremendous. He's on the verge of leading this team to back-to-back 10-win seasons, and Power 5 schools are definitely interested in hiring him as their new head coach. I think this is going to be a big win for the Trojans over the Red Wolves. I will go with Troy over Arkansas State. Now, the next time to catch you guys will be on Monday night, Tuesday morning, in which I will give you a recap of championship week, and we will see who will make the final playoff come towards the end of the season. Thank you for watching this vlog. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.